All right, man. Let's start talking about this thing, man. I don't know how should I start, man. Let's talk about I guess the design or the let's talk about the trailer, man. How did you feel
Oh
about
yeah,
the
yeah. Let's
trailer?
start with the trailer. So,
Yeah.
what was like your first reaction to it? Like, what'd you expect to like see out of the trailer before it came out?
I mean, from what I was hearing about it, I knew it was some handheld, and it kind of made me frown because I really didn't know what to expect. But after seeing the trailer, I was like, okay, I kind of see how I like the way they set it up. I like the way you can take it on the go. It's basically just a big tablet when you have the. The other thing is I
I
was
guess
cracking up is they had the man taking it everywhere, and I'm like, realistically speaking, I do not
he
want this
went
shit out of my house.
everywhere.
Unless I'm like, if I'm inside a car and I know him, then I will happily take it somewhere. But like, I'm not taking it
Yeah.
on the plane. They don't think it's a bomb, but
I mean, like when before it dropped, like when they were just talking about it, like when it was the NX before we knew it was going to be called the Switch. Like I thought it was going to be sort of like a Wii U Lite type thing, which I didn't want because I didn't want the Wii U. I'm like, oh, it's just going to be like another little tablet that you stick with like your home console, and they say you can play the games on it, but really you have to be like right next to it in your house or you can't do anything.
right.
Then yeah, when the trailer dropped and he's like playing Zelda, and then he like has to go take the dog out, and he just gets up and starts playing Zelda even more. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I see this being like at least something cool. Then Skyrim dropped, and I'm like,
That's
you can
right. When I
only play
saw that, I was like, they're gonna have
dude.
Skyrim. Like you're telling me I could play the exact same game
Exactly, because
on the
like that's
big
the one problem
console.
with Skyrim. It takes forever to play, and like once you leave home, you might as well give your save away because like you're not gonna keep playing it.
For real, I mean, just to have those kind of games. I mean, these are AAA games potentially, assuming on third
Potentially.
party support. These are AAA games, and we are so assuming the Switch can run those, even on the the little tablet thing. That I mean, you're talking about you can take games like Zelda, you can take Mario, Skyrim, all on the go. Like that's insane.
I mean, we know it's gonna have the Nvidia GPU, which kudos to them for like using quality
Right,
parts.
right, yeah.
Like that's huge. And depending on what the battery life is gonna be, this thing will be pretty awesome. But I don't know. I'm excited at least, like to see those games pop up, to see what they could do. Um, like what impressed or surprised you the most, though, man?
What surprised me the most?
Yeah, what like either impressed you the most or surprised you the most?
Just that they're talking about they're going back to cartridges. Now that was tripping me out. Like you see the guy put it in the little
Yeah.
tablet in the trailer. I mean, it looks like a 3DS cartridge. Like you're telling me you can put these AAA games on cart. Like that's impressive. Like that really stood out to me.
I was kind of skeptical when I first heard they were going
Yeah,
to go
same,
back to
right.
cartridges. I was like, I don't know. Like, we went disc so long ago that I'm like, we can't do cartridges again. But if you think about it, essentially, like, a flash card is just a cartridge anyway.
Then that's what I was. After I saw that, I did some further research and they were saying the same thing. Like think about like an SD card. How
Yeah.
much stuff you can hold on that. But Nintendo, they love their
So,
cartridges. They
exactly.
they can't get away
I
from
mean,
these cartridges.
I'm still worried about it because I feel like there's going to be some limitations. Like, ideally, you should do Blu ray or larger.
I mean, it
But I mean,
depends because if they go with cartridges and I don't have to install the goddamn game onto my system and I have the physical media, then I will gladly welcome cartridges back because that's been the
well,
big
that's the
problem.
other thing, too. So far the rumor going around that's pretty much confirmed, but it hasn't officially been said by them is it's going to be a 32 gig model, and like that's going to be it. So you're going to have like really limited internal storage. There's supposed to be an expandable slot, so you could probably put another SD card in there, but I feel like giving people 32 at this point in the game, where like everybody's going digital anyway, is like way too small.
I mean, so I guess it depends. So I mean, do you not have to install games or I don't know? Nintendo, they're always kind of like I don't want to say living in the past, but like they're always kind of weird about that kind of stuff. Like
I mean, that's one of the biggest limitations of the Wii U, though, like
right,
because you
so
still have to
then
install something, and you have no storage space at all.
so I mean, yeah, I don't know how that's like 32 gigs. I don't know. I don't know,
I
but maybe
mean,
they likely just want you to go out and buy a hard drive. Like you know how it is nowadays.
yeah,
Like if they
pretty
can
much.
sell more, they will. But that's
It's
everybody, not just
expandable.
Nintendo.
I mean, if you could just drop like a 128 gig SD card in there, you should be fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh shit. What else? I mean, do you think this is like another gimmick, or you think like Because, like, you can't help but, like, you look at it and you go, like, man, it's kind of gimmicky with these detachable controllers, and then I can take it to places. Like, how do you
I
feel about that?
I think it's gimmicky, but at least it's a good gimmick. That's the thing. Like, if Nintendo's gonna do gimmicks now, that's apparently their new thing. It's gonna be what they do. But at least this feels like a good gimmick. Like, I feel like the Wii was kind of it was there and it was fun, but at the same time they weren't really marketing it towards like the hardcore set of gamers. It was more supposed to be like a family console. The Wii U, I just have no idea what they were doing. Like that gimmick just fell completely.
I think they just, I mean, yeah, that's what it was. They invested way too much in the touchscreen, the tablet thing, and then it's just like, lots of people,
Well,
they just
that's the
want a
thing.
damn controller. They don't want a screen on their controller. Or they don't want, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It just
they
overcomplicated
invested way
things.
too much in
Right.
touchscreens that they technically already had. Like if they would have went the PS4 route and just like did remote play on your 3DS,
Right,
I think it would
right.
have been fine. And like shipped the Wii U with just like pro controllers instead.
I was gonna say, yeah, if they just, that's what I'm hoping for the Switch, man. And I'm hoping because I saw that Switch Pro controller. So I'm kind of hoping, I
Oh,
don't count on it, but I'm kind of hoping that they ship it with that. That's what most people that see that controller and they go like, how do you play video games with that? Like.
yeah.
But I mean, like those Switch controllers, they don't look all that. I mean, I guess it depends on the game. Like if you're playing like a simple
What?
platformer, you should be
Yeah.
alright. But if you're trying to play Smash on like a Switch, those little the ones you can take out, I don't think it's gonna work.
I mean, I mean, I guess we should say it's officially called the Joy-Cons. Like that's what they're calling the controllers that go on either side. You get the left and the right one with the Switch. I don't know if you get the little charging dock with it, but that appears to be like their idea of the controller before you get the Pro. If you're playing at home, you just drop them onto that thing and it charges them, but you can also play with it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, but like, it's just like it's kind of like an awkward. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like they
I
forgot
mean,
how
the
to
biggest
just.
thing, I guess the biggest thing I noticed is that like they're small. Like they're really small. I don't
Yeah.
have massive hands, but like I can imagine someone with really big hands. Especially they had the way they had in the trailer where like the girl was playing Mario and then she took over with her friends and you had to like share a controller.
Uh,
Like if you have a friend with really big hands, I don't know how that's gonna work.
that's what I'm saying. If they just shipped the Pro controller with it, they wouldn't have to worry about it because you could just pick and choose. Like kids aren't gonna give a care, but like me, it's gonna be irritating using those things and then having to shell out more money
Well, I mean, I
for
think
like the
that's the
real
thing.
controller, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, but it's probably
Which
gonna
the-
happen anyway. Like with the
yeah.
Wii U.
Oh yeah. Nintendo's like whole market is basically children though, so like I could see them designing this thing and being like, oh, our intended audience only has small hands. It's like, but a lot of your audience is still adults.
Yeah, I mean, like you go where the money is, but I don't know. I mean, they gotta find a way to cater to everybody, and that's been like their huge problem.
Yeah.
And that's why they have this reputation for being like this kiddie company.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that I'll probably get into like as we get later in the discussion. But like, what are you most skeptical on? I guess we're both skeptical on like storage and like the controllers and stuff like that. Is there anything else that kind of makes you like a little skeptical about it?
I guess the performance when we're just using the handheld, because I heard it's only going to be
Yeah.
720p. So if I take it to an airplane, if I don't like, oh well, that and I want to know the battery life. That's the big thing to me.
Yeah,
If it's playing
that's
these
definitely it.
big AAA games, like what is the battery? It can't be like 3 or 4 hours. Like even 6 or 7, I could do it, but like it's gonna get on my nerves. If you're advertising this as a portable console, it's like a hybrid basically. But if you're advertising it as portable at all, like we don't need like another like a Game Gear or like Atari
Yeah.
Lynx where it lasts like 2 hours. Like, I wanna
I
know the battery.
mean,
That's what's really the battery life. I'm really worried about that.
yeah. I mean, they haven't really came out and said they won't confirm if it's touch or not, but everyone seems to think it's touch. It's going to be like a 5-inch screen. It's 720p. It seems like they're really marketing this as more of like a tablet console. So I can see if it has the same battery life as like a iPad or something like that, where you get like a good 6 hours or so. Like that'd be
Right, right.
decent.
And speaking
Like just
of that
enough to
touch
get you
screen,
through things.
Yeah, nobody in the trailer. Well, they were saying nobody in the trailer was using it as a touchscreen. So for me, I was like, if it is a touchscreen, you would want to let your consumers know. So like, why not have somebody use this touchscreen feature? So that led me to think like it's not a touchscreen. But I mean, who knows?
I mean, I guess I'm afraid, like, because they say the Switch is going to drop in March, and if you're not showing a feature like that, it either means, like, the Switch isn't done, and you don't know if you can actually make it work, or it's just not there.
I mean,
I
going back to that, I mean, I think they taken too long just to tell us about the damn thing. Like, it's gonna come out in less than a year, and like we just figured out what the damn name was, what it looked like, what it does.
That's not as much of an issue because I think they've clearly like fallen back. Like they're not competing. So you see Xbox drop the Scorpio, and then you've got the PlayStation 4 Pro. Clearly, this is going to be something different. So I think that's why they waited because they already knew like, okay, these people are going to release these 4K systems. We're going to come in later with our smaller system. It should hopefully be a lower price, and they're going to kind of take the market over that way. They're still capitalizing on a market that like Sony and the Xbox can't get to. It's just these people who want to play the games, but they don't want to spend like a bunch of money for it.
So again, I guess that's going to come down like how much this thing going to cost.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so coming to cost, like, what are the factors that would have to make this like a day one purchase for you? Like, what would the Switch have to have or like come with to be a day one purchase?
Well, I mean, give me a little more information. But I mean, besides that,
Yeah.
I just got to see the games. Like for me,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the games. I don't really care about specs. I mean, like I still play old games. I don't really care about. I'm not really a graphics kind of guy. I just got to see what kind of games are they gonna. We already know about Zelda. They're doing something with Splatoon, whether it's gonna be like a sequel or like an update. Same thing with Mario Kart. For me, I just got to see the games. Also, I want to see like the peripherals. I want to see, does it come with the Pro controller? If not, you know, like what does it come with? Accessories, stuff like that.
I guess for me, like the factors I need to see besides like more information because this is still really early, even if it is late, it's still really early as far as what they're releasing, and they're not really open to like wanting to tell anybody what's coming. I need the price to be something affordable. Like I've been saying, if it comes out around 300 or 350, then it's worth it. If it's anything higher, I don't know if I can necessarily get into it right away. Yeah, knowing if it's gonna come with the Pro controller, what the price of those peripherals are, like if it's not gonna come with it, like how much is it gonna cost me to get this controller? Because I can tell that's gonna be something people want to buy immediately, especially if you play a lot of games or if your hands are a little bit bigger. I need to know like what games are coming, not just new games. I need to know like what ports are coming. I missed, some games that I want to play on the Wii U without like getting it. So if you can get me a port of like Smash 4, or if you can get me a port of Pokken, maybe another Hyrule Warriors if I don't want to like go out and get it on the 3DS. Like those popular games of the Wii U, are those going to get ported, or are we going to leave those on the Wii U?
I would like to think they're going to be ported because the way they didn't. I don't want to say they just gave up, but they kind of just said, you know what, we're done with the Wii U. We're moving on. We had our issues with that. We're moving forward. I would not be shocked if I fully expect Smash Bros. To be ported at some point, whether it's like physical or like maybe some sort of emulation. I fully expect it to be ported.
And that's the thing. I was just reading on a website. Let me get the actual name so I can be official with this. The ArsTechnica.com. I've just kind of pulled them up. They had a translation of a Japanese Famitsu story, and within it, Nintendo has basically confirmed that the Switch won't play the physical games from the 3DS or the Wii U. It's not going to play the disc. It's not going to play 3DS cartridges. There's a possible chance that it might take the downloadable Virtual Console titles, but we don't actually know if it's going to do that. So
Yeah,
they've pretty much come out and said.
Actually, yeah, I read about that this morning. I was not. I mean, I'm not surprised it has no backwards compatibility. I don't know why people were expecting it to.
Because it's kind of become Nintendo's like hallmark. Like they've been the backwards compatible people since.
I mean, yeah, but like you got to look at the Switch. This is not like this is a
games.
hybrid console. They've never done something like this before.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I never expected it to be backwards compatible. Like, because it's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to be replacing both of them. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it only takes cartridges, obviously it can't take disc anyway. But I mean, but that's like you said, though. Like that's what Nintendo usually does. They're usually like the kings of backwards compatibility. But like, I mean, they're trying to move forward. So
Yeah. I am happy that they seem to be supporting multiplayer. My question is, with all this emphasis of trying to get like 2K and stuff like this, you can't play these games with friend codes. Like, I need to know that the friend code system is done. I need to know that I don't have to have like a little code name. I want to just be able to have an online system. I can type somebody's name in, I can add them as a friend, and we can go from there.
I mean, look, it's 2016. It's about time they caught up with everybody else. Like, Microsoft has been doing this since the early 2000s. I mean, PlayStation, you got Steam. I 100% agree. They got to have some sort of unified system.
There's got to be something.
No long numbers, no dashes, none of that crap.
I'm not asking another adult for their friend code anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like, I should just be able to, like, what's your name? I'm Diamond Dust 132. Put me in. And
I need that. I gotta have voice chat. Like, it's gotta be there. Like, I understand they're all about the kids and everything, but at least make it where an option where you can turn it on or turn it off. Like put that in the parental controls or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've done it real ghetto. They've had like channels like specific to
Yeah.
that. But I mean,
Like
it's just like you said, it's that kid thing. They don't want parents to be like, "Who are you talking to?" You know, did he say that? It's just
exactly.
like, I mean,
And I
Nintendo's gotta
understand
stop
it.
babysitting people. That's what it is. You gotta just let the parents have a mind of their own. Like,
Like
if I had
kids
kids, I
are
would.
your market, but like adults play games like Splatoon. Splatoon is a game that would be perfect with voice chat, and the majority of people I know that play Splatoon are adults. They're not necessarily children out there, and yet you can't get voice chat on there. Like imagine how tactical that game could get if you could actually like talk to people.
It's just basic stuff. It's just like, man, they gotta. I mean, they gotta get out of this shell. Like I know kids are their biggest thing, but they gotta pander to everybody. Like they have to. It's just 2016. You can't. Like they have to. Like their handhelds
Uh,
work because it's a
yeah.
handheld, and like you're not expected to have like TeamSpeak or like voice chat or anything like that. When you have a console, and it's supposed to be a hybrid, so when you have a console, you have to have all. It's just expected now. You have to have all those features.
Yeah, I mean it's got to happen, especially if you're gonna try to push the market and get some of these other dollars. Like people want to have those basic features. Like, at this point, those are almost features that have to be included.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like mandatory to not have them. You're just people gonna be looking like, what's going on with your console? Like I can't even talk to my friend when he gets online. Like what?
I mean, they seem to be at least attempting, and I wonder if like some of this stuff is gonna start coming. Unfortunately, with Iwata dying, like with the change in like philosophies that they're going with at Nintendo, are they gonna start doing more of this stuff?
I mean, I think whether they like it or not, they kind of have to adapt some things that their competitors are doing. 'Cause, I mean, they're basically saying we're not competing without saying we're not competing. But I mean, the gamers, it's like they expect certain things nowadays, like voice chat. Like
Yeah.
you just have to have that kind of stuff. So like, I just think that they're gonna have a choice.
And I mean, I'm wondering if that's like a cultural thing because I don't, know much about Japanese culture, but I haven't really heard a lot of them pushing for voice chat. It's mostly like Americans that are like, I have to have voice chat. Do you think that's something that's uniquely American?
I
Like,
mean, I don't
we're the
know if
ones who want
this
this.
has anything to do with it, but like Japan is a very small country. The reason why the 3DS sells so well over there is because like stuff like Spot Pass and Street Pass, and like all the little features you have just by
Yeah,
having your 3DS on, like that stuff works way better in Japan because their cities are like densely populated.
yeah.
So I would like to perhaps like maybe in their culture it's like they're more used to like actually having go outside interacting with one another. So maybe something like voice chat isn't that big a deal to them.
Well, I mean, I know arcades are still big there, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're more about going out and kind of actively playing, or doing some type of play in public, as far versus like sitting at home and kind of chatting with people.
Yeah, I really do think that has something to do with it. Like meanwhile, I guess they're looking at us, we're sitting on our asses with our headsets. I mean, that might play into it. I can't say for sure.
Yeah,
It might just be an assumption on my part, but that might have
I
something
mean,
to
it's
do with it.
possible. It's been announced that, as far as we know, amiibos are still going to be supported on there, so the amiibo market's not going to die. They seem to be very married to this figurine idea. Is that something that like interests you?
I mean, it would have been absolutely dumb if it did not support amiibos, or if it doesn't, because I guess it hasn't necessarily been confirmed. But like, if it doesn't, that's so stupid. It's like everybody buys amiibos, even if you don't use them for a game, people buy it.
I
So like,
mean,
you might as well
I feel
just
like it
have.
has to.
Hmm,
I feel like it has to, because the big
yeah,
thing they were touting in Breath of Wild is like, oh, if you drop Zelda amiibos in, it'll work. So you kind of almost had to put it in there.
I mean, you can't pour that much money into something and then market it that much to the consumers, and then we buy it, and then suddenly, oh no, it doesn't work anymore. It's obsolete. Like that'd be messed up. I think they just have to. They absolutely have to be able to support amiibo.
Disney Infinity disagrees with you.
Oh man, that poor man.
That straight up shut down. Like everything has gone clearance for that. It's so hard.
Well, I mean, I guess at least for amiibos, the thing they got on their side is that you can use them for different kinds of games. For Disney Infinity, they're
Yeah.
basically the same thing for the most part. Yeah, I remember selling those at my old job, man. Those things to fly off the shelves, man. I remember this
Oh
one
yeah.
lady had a whole shopping cart full of them.
Yes, because it's the collector, aspect of it. Besides playing it, people just want to like buy them and hold on to them.
Yeah, but I can't see Nintendo going like, you know what, screw amiibos, they're dead. Like, I can't see them
Yeah.
doing that. So
No.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna have amiibo support.
So what do you think about the idea of like the actual console itself being a tablet, and then the dock is just kind of there to charge it and like connect it to the TV?
You know what? Like, I guess as an old man, it's a little weird to see like just not having like this big console like hooked up to your TV. I mean, I like it. If you're trying to take it to somebody's house, it takes like 2 seconds. You just like maybe gotta unplug something and take it there. I
I,
mean, and I think it's gonna work. Like it's a really weird idea just from what I'm used to, but like I like the portability. I mean,
Hmm.
it should work.
I think the seamlessness of it is kind of what sold people. Like, just to watch the trailer and he's like playing, and then he's got to go on the plane, so he's playing in the airport. Then he's playing the same game on the plane. Then he gets back home and he drops it in the dock. It's
I mean,
like
that's the big draw.
that
You're playing the
seamless
same
play.
games, but you're just taking them out of your house. And I mean, it's like if I, it's like if I said, what was I playing? Like if I said if I was playing Pokemon Coliseum, I just
Yeah.
hit a switch, I'm out the door, I'm still playing it.
And I mean, I think that's pretty cool. Like, if you're trying to sell to children and families aspect, explaining to parents, like, oh, you only have to buy this one game and they can play it for wherever. Like, you can play it at home, then you take it in the car and you can keep them quiet in the car while they play it. Then they can drop it in and keep playing at home. Like, instead of having to buy, like, numerous versions, you buy the home console, then you buy the mobile phone version, then you gotta buy a DS version. Like, that might be a pretty big selling point, especially if the games, like, retail at a decent price. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to split the difference. Is it going to be like the normal 3DS $40 price? Is it going to retail at like 50 or 60 for home console games? That's going to be
I
interesting.
fully expect 60 because they can get away with it. I mean, they're gonna say, well, it's a home console. Of course, these games are gonna be 60. Like, what else were you expecting? I fully
That's,
expect $60 games. I will be shocked if $40. There's no way. Like, I can't see it happening.
I mean, I guess speaking of that third-party support, have you seen the image that showed like the difference between third-party support on the Wii U and that of like the new Switch?
I did not, but I did see the picture where they show what third-party developers were jumping on board.
Yeah, it's a ton of them.
It's. I mean, it looks like they got their stuff under control this time. Like, I hope so. It looks good. It looks good so far.
Yeah, man, it looks amazing. Um, but speaking of third party, it's gotten kind of weird because it's actually been confirmed today that 2K and Skyrim are not confirmed games on the Switch yet.
Interesting. So what the hell were they showing us? That's interesting. I'm not gonna say false advertising because it's not like they said, "Oh yeah, this is."
Oh no, it's not
we're
false.
selling it.
Bethesda came out and released a statement that they enjoyed working on the trailer with Nintendo, but they are not officially like announcing anything. I don't know if it's because they're in like non-disclosure or if they just don't want to say it in general.
Well, I mean, we hope it's that. I mean, it could have just been some sort of tech demo saying, "Look, this is how strong the Switch is."
That's pretty much what it is. Like Nintendo just kind of edited the footage into the trailer, and Bethesda like kind of helped them with it.
Okay. I mean, it's probably gonna happen, but like, yeah, I guess there's no guarantee.
Yeah, they didn't come out and lie or anything. It's not like they're like, "Oh, we have this game," and Bethesda's like, "No, you don't." They just aren't.
Like, no, that wasn't.
They're not committed to saying it, at least.
That's interesting. I mean, I hope it's on there. What I'm hoping is like I said, that's some sort of like at worst, it's some sort of tech demo. So it's saying like, yeah, it could run these types of games.
I mean, I fully expect him to be there, if anything, because Bethesda is actually on that list of third-party supporters that they showed. So I'm thinking it's going to be there. They don't want to announce anything, and they don't want to kind of screw their selves over, because nobody knows if it's going to be the remastered one that's coming out next week, or if it's going to be, like, base Skyrim.
Oh, wow, that would suck.
Well, I mean, it might be Skyrim with DLC, but it might not be like the fully high textured remaster they're doing for the PS4. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna screw people and be like, oh, you gotta buy Skyrim and the DLC separate on the Switch.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I think when Mass Effect came out on the Wii U, like Mass Effect 3, I think it had all the.
It should have, because I think it came out like after.
Yeah, it did. So I think when that game came out, it had all DLC. So maybe they do something.
I know
like
Arkham City, I think, did too, because it was the enhanced edition or whatever.
I remember that it did. So I mean, yeah, I would expect it. Hopefully, it would be the best version. Hopefully, because if it's not, like, it's gonna be like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, classic Nintendo." Like they get the same game, but like it's a shittier version.
I mean, they're doing one thing with this that they didn't do with the Wii U, and that's give us like launch titles immediately. Like we're getting a new Mario. Like it's pretty much confirmed. We're gonna get the Zelda that's coming out. That's definitely confirmed. All they're missing at this point is a new Metroid. Like, if they get a new Metroid, then you'll have a fully fledged Nintendo console there.
I would love a new Metroid. It's been too long. I want a new F-Zero. It's been too long.
Yeah. I mean, and none of this fucking, was it Bounty Hunters or whatever they called that excuse?
Federation.
3DS? Federation, whatever. It's so forgettable, nobody even knows the name.
I mean, from what I've heard, it's not a bad game. If it was just not Metroid, then it would be like way better.
Yeah.
If it just didn't have that title attached to it. It'd be like a way better game. But
I
what was I gonna
just
bring up? I forgot what source, but I read it this morning. This afternoon when I woke up. They're talking about the Switch not being region locked. If that is true,
that I think has been confirmed. Like that, I heard that like immediately after the trailers dropped.
if that is true, my God, they can have my money because like
I mean, that's gonna be amazing.
region locking is so stupid because we don't get half the games anyway. That's not our fault.
Yeah,
They just go like,
exactly.
well, Americans won't buy this or like it's too graphic or something. For whatever reason, some games don't
I
come
mean,
over here.
sometimes it's niche titles. Like a lot of them are
Right,
like, oh,
right.
it's this anime game that you're not going to get in America because nobody in America seems to care.
Right. So like, well, now you can just import it. And what the thing for me is,
Well, you can
especially
import it,
when,
but
like,
I say you can import it, but it used to be like, oh yeah, you have to have like a specific console for that
right,
country
exactly,
if you
right.
import it. Yeah.
So now you can import it and just play it on your console. The big thing with me is censorship. Like I can't stand when games
Yeah.
get censored.
Yeah.
One big example is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It got absolutely mutilated in North America. It's not even playable. Even if I had a Wii U, I would refuse to buy it. Like I'd rather import it and just like struggle with Japanese text. It was horrible. So now if something like that happens, you can just import, the copy from a different region.
I feel like this is a move that was kind of in the pipeline from Nintendo. They hadn't come out and said it yet, but even with the X and Y and ORAS, like having those games come out worldwide with all the languages included, I think they kind of wanted to make this push to release everything within the same time period.
I actually appreciate that because I don't like when other regions. I mean, even if it's America, I don't like when other regions get games first. It's just like
Yeah.
you can't help but get spoiled. I mean, we live in a day in the age of the internet. It's easy to get spoiled.
Oh yeah, people, you're watching and they're like someone's streaming it from Japan or from England or wherever they get it. I think it also, if it's not region locked and everything drops on the same day, you might somehow save on people like releasing copies early. I know that didn't really work with X and Y because I think it was France or one of those European countries that it dropped like a couple days before it was supposed to.
What the hell was I gonna say? I mean, I don't get why any company region locks. To be honest, it's just like I get. Well, I mean, I get you thinking like, well, I mean, you're not gonna make money in this market if you just go and buy the game like early or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you could solve that problem just by releasing everything at the same time. But like, even going past that, it's just goofy because like it's like you just can't play certain games unless you mod your system, which tends to be illegal or something, or you gotta shell out extra money to buy the Japanese version. And now you got two consoles that only play specific region games. It's just like goofy. Like
I think
DS,
my biggest problem with
No, go ahead.
go ahead.
Well,
I would say I
like,
think my biggest problem with region locking is just like when you get different content. So I remember Final Fantasy X,
Yeah.
like the whole thing was get the Japanese one because it had better stuff. Or Kingdom Hearts Final Mix was like something we didn't get in America until they just dropped 1.5 in the 2015 or something like that.
right.
Like you can't region lock good content because you don't want a certain country to get it or because it's not going to be in like the full release or something like that. Doing worldwide, I think, will kind of help that problem, and Nintendo's definitely going to be on the forefront of that.
Or what companies could do instead. Namco Bandai does this now. They could just sub their games in English. I mean, they're rough subs. I mean, like they're pretty rough, but like you wouldn't know what's going on. That's what they did for all the Super Wars games. That's what they do for them now. They just sub them. So we don't get them, but you can import them easily, and they'll have the.
I think it's Bandai that did Digimon too, right? They did Cyber Sleuth.
Yeah, they did Cyber Sleuth like that.
Because that's purely Japanese audio, and then you get like the English subtitles.
I mean, but they released it in our region. Like the games I'm talking about, they haven't been released in our region, but
Well, true.
It's the same thing. They got the sub, so
True.
that's what companies could do if like they absolutely are insistent on region locking. But I mean, it sounds like we don't have to worry about it for the Switch, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. So one thing that they definitely pushed in the trailer was this emphasis on getting into esports. Do you think that's going to be something that's going to get big, or is Nintendo actually admitting they want to get into this esports category now?
They already have to a certain extent with Melee.
True, Melee, Smash,
Melee.
and stuff like that.
And Smash 4. I mean, why not? It's just extra money, right? I mean,
it
people
seems
would
to
play
be
Mario.
like they.
No, go
I mean,
ahead.
it seems like they want to go bigger with it. Like, yeah, they've had like Evo and stuff like that shows up. It seems like they kind of want to make this an emphasis point of the console.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they probably just want to handle it themselves. Yeah, I mean, I can see them doing that, especially if they port Smash, Splatoon, Mario Kart. You could easily go esports with those. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, you would be surprised how many people would love to get paid to play stuff like Mario Kart.
Oh,
I
definitely.
could definitely see that getting an esports.
I mean, and I know you're a member of the fight game community. With this whole idea and the way they pushed it in the trailer is that everyone's got their own little Switch, and then you dock in and you play together. Is that something you'd want to see in the fight game community? You know, to say if, like, you know, God forbid, the next Street Fighter or something like that, just throwing a name out there, gets put on there. Would you want everyone to kind of have their own consoles? You just, all right, guys, we're going to slide in, we're going to play here together. Or you don't even get to slide in, you're just going to play it right there on the Switch in front of you. Is that something you think would be, like, a cool innovation to the fight game community?
Are you saying like not using the TV and just
I mean, you could still do the TV, too, or, you know, maybe not do the TV. It depends on how they want to do it.
I can't
But just
see
like
them,
this concept of it.
I can't see them not using the TV. People in the fighting game community, we're very specific about how our monitors, how our screens are. I mean, if it doesn't have info lag, I can see people using the screen. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it just depends. Like, how many controllers could you hook up to the Switch? Because fighting game players are gonna use arcade sticks, like regardless.
True.
So
I
they're not
don't
gonna use,
actually know if they've announced that.
like they're gonna want to use
Uh,
arcade sticks. So like, if
yeah.
it doesn't have that, then like it's pretty much gonna be restricted to Smash, which is still fine because they
Oh, that
Smash still
reminds
makes
me.
tons of money.
That actually reminds me. It's not confirmed yet, but they were talking about the dock. The dock is supposed to have like I think two USB 2.0 ports and one USB 3.0. So assuming you can probably connect peripherals and stuff in through that if you're using the TV dock.
Yeah, I know people have been talking about like maybe the GameCube adapter for the Wii U you can use on
Yeah,
that. Maybe.
it might be possible.
I mean,
I just thought it'd be interesting.
in terms of the FGC, Smash gets a really they have a really bad reputation. It's seen as a party game. It's seen as a kiddie game. So
True.
in turn, I think Nintendo might be seen that way by the FGC. I don't know. It depends on what games, you know. Like say it got Street Fighter, for instance.
I say just throwing a name out there, like because you know Street Fighter's kind of locked into the Sony and PC thing, but if somehow like Street Fighter
Right.
6 or even Street Fighter 5 gets like a port on it, like a Street Fighter 5 Ultra or something like that, goes to Switch.
I can't see people in the FGC switching. They'd just be like, well, we already had it for PS4. It works for PS4. We'll just keep using PS4.
True.
That's what happened with Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on Wii U. It was on Wii U, but nobody really plays the Wii U one. Because it's like, why? You can just play the PlayStation 3 or like the Xbox version. So I don't know. It's just like Nintendo isn't really seen as the home for fighting games unless it's Smash.
True.
So unless they do
I guess
something to entice people.
The biggest thing for me with like the Switch, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I guess I'm kind of super influenced by like the anime stuff, but like, what if they had like a decent MMO that dropped on Switch?
Oh my god, that could
Like
work.
the ability to like everyone's got their own screen. Like just imagine on the train, you're sitting there like everyone's kind of playing this MMO on their own screen, and then takes it home and slides it in to play it on the TV.
You know, it just sounds it sounds like something you can do with Monster Hunter.
Exactly. Yeah, Monster Hunter sounds like it would work perfectly with that. Like legit, if they had like a decent MMO. I don't know what Nintendo would be willing to do, but if there was like a decent MMO that dropped and like went to Switch, I could see that being like a system mover.
I know they got
Especially
a
if
couple
it's
coming.
something that's like, it's nothing's ever gonna get that big, but something in the vein of like a World of Warcraft where like a lot of people want to
Wow.
show up and play it.
That would
Like
be,
it's not gonna get World of Warcraft, but something like that huge, like something that becomes a global phenomenon and everyone's like on their Switch playing.
that would work perfectly for that because if you're already advertising this hybrid console, I mean that's perfect. I mean if those kind of games are perfect to play on the go. Like you don't have to set anything up really. You just hop back in.
Yeah,
As
like
soon
your
as you get
level
home,
grind.
you
I mean,
just-
like you're farming or grinding or something like that on like your way home, and then you
Right.
pop in, pop the console in the dock, and like you're in a raid with your friends, and you never had to stop.
That's perfect.
Like, hey, I get home at 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and raid at 6, and then you just drop in, and you're right there.
I don't know if you can find 5 people like crazy enough to bring their like maybe $300 consoles outside, but if you could, it'd be
You
really
could,
cool.
and you all just meet up at some place, and you can like put the kickstand out and play there.
Another
Well, that's
thing-
the other thing. I'm wondering if it's going to be like Wi-Fi enabled or something. Are you going to be able to do other things on the Switch like while you're carrying it?
I mean, it kind of has to be. It kind of sucks if like
Yeah.
you need to be in your house and like you can't do anything. Like it kind of has to be what
Yeah.
if you're treating it like a tablet, then like I don't see why not.
I'd say that that's pretty cool. Like, I guess you have the other multimedia aspects, so you could totally like hop on Netflix and watch something if you're not playing a game, stuff like that.
So I'm saying, like,
But if you're gonna do all that, once again, you gotta have the battery life for it.
that's what I'm saying. Like if the 3DS can do it, then like this thing should be able to do it. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't even be like a question. It should just have Wi-Fi.
All right, so I guess we can open it up to like prospective slates of games. Like, what games would you want to see from Nintendo that haven't been announced yet, or things that you think are going to be announced soon? Is there anything like you'd want to see on the Switch, like specifically?
Metroid. That's easy, Metroid. We need not Other M. I hate that game.
So like maybe like another game in the Prime series, maybe.
It doesn't even have to be Prime. It just has to. I mean, it just has to be a good Metroid game. I know they're not hard to make. There's way more good ones than bad ones. Just don't.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Other M wasn't necessarily a bad game, gameplay wise. It could have been better if they had just used a different controller, because you're like forced to use the Wii controller, and you know how bad that is for playing games.
Oh yeah.
So, and then the story, they just have to not screw up the story as bad as they did in that. Like making a good Metroid game isn't that.
Don't have voice acting, like maybe that.
I mean, it's just voice acting compounded by a really crappy story, and then you ruin your character. I mean, they just. I'm not saying don't have a story, because all the Metroid games have a story, but like I think they thought too hard.
Honestly,
game.
I would love to see like a remaster or like an upscale of Metroid Fusion. I feel like it's about time to get that one back there.
That was a great game. I love. I love Metroid Fusion. That's one of my favorites. Nobody, I think that's an underrated one. Nobody really talks about it, but like that's
because it dropped on like Game Boy Advance and nobody really paid attention to it.
I mean, people played Zero Mission. That's so it's just like that Fusion storyline wise just has nothing to do with anything really. It's just like its own like side story kind of thing.
I mean, definitely a Metroid. I want them to actually do a good Star Fox, because I hear the one that Star Fox Zero that just dropped.
Yeah, I've not been hearing good things about Zero, but I mean,
so,
what I've heard is that it's just okay. It's not like bad, but it's not like 64. Good.
I heard they literally ripped off like missions from 64 and just like upscaled them. I'm like, if you're gonna do that,
is the king of pandering to nostalgia. Okay, so that was.
I was saying, if you're gonna do that, you already had that on the 3DS. It was like a straight up just a port of Star Fox.
I don't know, but people say we want Star Fox 64, but like better. So they give them Star Fox 64, and then like they complain. I don't know. That's just how it is.
I want that, or I'd want a new Star Fox Adventures, because like that game was dope.
That game, you know what? That game when it first came out, everyone loved that game, and then over the years, people went like, "This game sucks because it's not."
It didn't age very well.
If they had just went with the original idea and not had Fox anywhere near that, it would have been
true.
It's a good game. That's what I'm saying. It's a good game. Like, it hasn't aged well, but it's a good game. It's just like it has that stigma of being that weird Star Fox game that has like nothing to do with Star Fox.
Do you think the Switch is going to be like when we actually get another F-Zero? Because we thought it was going to happen on the Wii U, and that kind of didn't pan out.
I don't even know how Nintendo feels about F-Zero. I mean, they'll put Falcon in Smash Bros. Because like it's an easy character slot, but like I want to know how they feel about F-Zero. I
feel like they teased everyone out by like figuring out the Zero G and stuff like that in Mario Kart, only to not make an F-Zero.
I don't see why not. I mean, people will buy it. People play F-Zero.
Talk about a game that'll be perfect to play on the go. Like, you just hop in and you're like racing with other people.
And you start racing. I'm saying, you just turn it on, you start racing. I can see it happening, but like, I don't know, man. They teased it with, like you said on the Wii U, when they had the Nintendo Land, they had that one mini game on there. They teased it.
Yeah.
But we never got it. I think maybe we would have eventually got it if they weren't killing off the Wii U so soon, but I hope the Wii U
killed itself.
I would like to see. Everyone's been asking for this. I don't know, in my personal, but I think they kind of have to do it like a Pokemon game, 3D, AAA title, but on the Switch.
There are two ways to do it. Like, I'd want to see either a Coliseum XD game, like another one in that series, or I'd want another stadium, like a legit stadium, not Battle Revolution, where I have to get my DS and like put my own Pokemon in there, like a legit Stadium 3 with like the gym leader castle and everything. Like, I want legit.
I mean, Battle Revolution was okay. It was definitely
okay.
Down.
I feel like it was a step back from the Stadium series.
I agree with that. If you didn't have your own Pokemon, that game was like impossible. But they did that on purpose, so you would go.
But I mean, I feel like that's how it was with Stadium, and at least it felt more fun then than playing Battle Revolution. Like Stadium, you knew the movesets were trash. Like, there's no reason Charmeleon should have Flamethrower and Charizard gets like Ember.
Right, gets like Fire Spin or some shit.
Yeah.
I would love to. I would like to see both, to be honest.
like a Pokemon state. I mean, if they could do both together, that'd be awesome. Like, maybe have a stadium mode along with like the main
That would
story.
work. That would absolutely work, right? Just kill two birds
Like,
with
I
one
mean,
stone.
games are at this point, games are big enough where you could totally do it. Like, put all 700 or whatever Pokemon in it. However many are going to be there after the Lolo region. Like, I don't even know what the number's going to be anymore.
I just don't know how I feel about like. Well, I mean, this is a hybrid console, so it could work. I've never been a big fan of when people go like, "Oh, GameCube should have had like a Pokemon Ruby type game, but in 3D." Like those games don't really work at your house. Like they're meant to be played like while you're like outside of the house, handheld. Like so, like. But I guess it could work with this console because it's supposed to be some hybrid.
I mean, this console will definitely be better for it. I
Right.
agree. Like, I could go either way with it on like the GameCube or something like that. But the ability to like level grind and stuff like that, and like complete story missions on the go, and then like just drop in and keep playing at home, because everybody when you were a kid was playing it at home too anyway.
Right.
Like Pokemon was a game that went on and never went off.
Exactly. We just gotta see. But what other games did you want to see on
Uh,
the Switch? Yeah.
trying to think of what else. Definitely the new Mario. Like, I'm excited that it looks to be in the vein of either Super Mario Sunshine or Mario 64, more so than like Mario Galaxy. Like, I enjoy Galaxy, but like, I could do without another one of those.
Yeah,
Um,
they've been making a lot of
honestly,
games in that vein. Yeah, it's been working. People have been buying it. So
yeah.
I
If they could do
I'm
like,
not really a big
a,
Mario guy. Like I will play the games, but like I don't really care. If there was no Mario game, I wouldn't really like give a care. I know that's
how,
heresy to certain Nintendo fans, but that's just how I feel. Like,
how
I'm
dope?
more of a Metroid kind of guy when it comes
Yeah.
to Nintendo.
I'll
So,
say, how dope would it be if they like connected again with Square Enix to go ahead and give us like another 7 stars or whatever, like the Super RPG Mario.
you know what, man? That game has not aged well in my
Like,
opinion, but it's a
drop that one
classic.
in 3D and like remake. Not even remake, or like you could do a new story with it. Honestly, it's like been long enough. You could totally do another story with it.
Well, the Paper Mario games, I guess, have been kind of filling that void, but they even changed those, so I guess not. But
Yeah,
yeah,
even
like
those
a true
aren't
sequel to
exactly
that
the same.
game, yeah, why not? Like,
I mean, because
imagine,
that seems to be the thing. Like, I feel like Nintendo is. People think it's a weird position, but I think they're in such a free fall as far as like consoles and popularity wise. Like, it gives them a lot of freedom to do things. Like, why not? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? People are not gonna buy it, and we're gonna like have to make something else. It's not like they're gonna go broke. Like, they have so much money at this point.
I think people forget that too. I always read comments like, "Oh, Nintendo, they're done for." they'll be making
I mean,
software like second. I'm like, they got so much money, man. If they,
because by all rights they should be, and then you realize they have enough money to make like bad games for the next 10 years and still be in
that's
business.
what I was saying. Like, unless they just go like, yeah, fuck it, let's just make games. Like, they're never gonna not make consoles. I can't see it happening.
I mean, this is a company that just pulled off getting Cloud and like Smash Brothers. Like,
Right,
they have
exactly.
the money to do whatever they want.
I still can't believe that happened, man. We used to make jokes.
Like,
on
we're
the
gonna get
playground.
Cloud, we're gonna get Kid, not Kid, we're gonna get Ryu, we're gonna get Bayonetta, like, just name it. Your favorite characters, they're coming there. Like, people joke Goku and Smash. I'm like, you think it couldn't happen?
I mean, people used to joke Cloud and Smash. I used to be like, it's never gonna happen. Like, as long as I live, we'll never see Cloud. Unless it's
They got
Union or
Smash-
something. And then there
They
we
got
go.
Smash 4 out here looking like Project M right now.
I know, right? What was I gonna say? Another game. I would really like to see a Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fire
I
Emblem.
mean, what was it? Path of Radiance that was on the GameCube? Those games were fun, like the ones that they had on GameCube. They looked beautiful, like the art was amazing.
Those games were hard as balls, man. The one on Wii, Radiant Dawn.
All Fire Emblems.
Radiant Dawn was hard as fuck. It wasn't hard. It's just they usually tone those games down for us.
Yeah.
So they just gave us Radiant Dawn in like its virgin form, and like American players like, why is this game so goddamn hard? Yeah, I think Fire Emblem is kind of a given, especially if you're replacing the 3DS with this thing. Then like it's gonna be a given. They're gonna have Fire Emblem. I don't know though, man. You never know, because we were pretty sure they're gonna have F-Zero, and then you know how that went.
I mean, I'd like to see another Mega Man Battle Network. Like, those are always been a fun series, and it feels like it's taken a break over the last couple generations. Like, there was, one on the DS, and I think there was one on the 3DS? I don't even know.
I don't think so, but I can't remember.
I don't know if the 3DS actually got one.
Yeah, I don't think so. eShop?
I don't know if Capcom's kind of, like, cooled off on that one or what they're doing. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Capcom could use a little bit of extra money right now.
I mean, they kind of cool off of Mega Man in general, man. They don't give. I mean, they care. They don't give a shit about Mega Man. That's
I mean,
just
I
weird
think
to me. He used to
I
be
think
their
that's
bread
why it
and
would be like a perfect time to bring back Battle Network, because you could almost say, okay, everyone's tired of like the traditional Mega Man formula. Let's go ahead and give them this sort of like card game RPG style and like make more money that way.
I mean, I'd buy it, but I don't know, man. It looks like maybe they're done with it. I don't know. I'd buy it.
I don't even know. I mean, there's no reason for them to. Mighty Number Nine was like trash.
I
Like
mean,
they
there's
have
no
no reason
reason
to
for
be
them to
done.
just not make Mega Man games in general, and they still don't. I mean, it's Capcom. They don't make any sense nowadays. Okay, like I don't even play
Them and
Street Fighter
Konami.
5 anymore because like it's such a piece of crap. That's what I'm saying. They don't know what the hell
Them
they're
and
doing.
Konami running for like worst companies right
I
now.
mean, they're trying to get up there with Ubisoft and Konami, for sure.
Pretty much. I mean, so they're the games we know everyone knows there's gonna happen. Like there's probably gonna be another like Professor Layton that happens. There's probably gonna be another like Phoenix Wright. Like those games are gonna happen.
I would like. I mean, like I guess a really dark horse for a game that's gonna happen. Mother, like
That'd be.
another Earthbound game.
I mean, still waiting on Mother 3 to
three,
like
bro, we're still
actually.
waiting on Mother 3. I mean, like that's what's crazy. They don't even have to do anything. They could literally just pay the guy who translated it and just release that. Like it's pretty much like a professional, like Nintendo did it themselves effort. Like it would take nothing
I mean,
for us to get Mother 3.
but then Nintendo wouldn't be able to ban him from putting videos on YouTube.
And it's weird because they know we want that game. Everyone's like, "Please import
Yes.
this game. It's great." And they're like, nah." So if they,
I mean,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I want to say no. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, I guess along the lines of like getting a new Pokemon, I've always said this. Like, I love playing Showdown. Like, if they could find some way to bring that to like their own consoles, like, there's no reason that a website should be able to do things better than you. Which is almost like what I think they could do with Stadium if they wanted to take it that way. Like, actually allow me to like pick my movesets and not have trash and like go up against hard AI. Because
I mean, but
the
then
Stadium AI was always a lot harder than like playing the Game Boy games.
I mean, but then you wouldn't go out and buy the extra games and stuff. Like they know what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you wouldn't go out and go get
I
the
mean, I
cartridge in the
That's true.
Game Boy and then just do it on there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you could just
It's like
do
they're taking elements from it and putting them in the games, but like they know they can't do that. Just what Showdown does.
No,
Like this whole idea on Sun and Moon, where you can like have up to 6 teams that are ready, and if you scan someone's QR code, you can use their team without actually trading their Pokemon back and forth. Like create teams, and they can have the same Pokemon on them if you want to. So you can put like your Smeargle or whatever that you lead with on every team if you want to. They're doing all these little Showdown-ish things, but not like actually doing it.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody ports it to their console. Yeah, I mean, they'll never do it just for like monetary reasons, like ever. You know what? Actually, that makes me wonder. Like, are we assuming that this is a 3DS replacement, so it's gonna have like no connectivity to it, or like, do you think that's something that they can do?
I mean, I've always had the theory, like, it's got to be some type of replacement, simply for the fact that the 3DS can't be, much longer for this world. As I've pointed out, like, numerous times, no console gets more than 2 generations of Pokemon, and at this point, we've got 6 and 7 coming to the 3DS, so 8's got to be on something else. Maybe it's the Switch, maybe it's not.
I get that argument, but it's like, it's not like nobody's not buying 3DSs all of a sudden. They could probably sell them for another 10 years. Because, like, that's just how...
They could have sold the Game Boy Advance for another 10 years until they released the DS. Like,
that's true. That's what I'm saying. Like, they got the handheld
what's that
unlocked.
stop? When does it ever stop Nintendo from like releasing new things that people are gonna go buy?
I don't know. For me, I just think it should be able to somehow.
I mean, you've got a
connect to the
built-in
3DS.
market.
Like, I don't know.
And that's the thing.
Bogus if it doesn't.
They've got a built-in market because, like, no matter what, the competitive Pokemon is like gonna sway a console. So if they came out and said Generation 8 coming out only on the Switch, everyone's gonna go buy a Switch. Like, if you play competitive, you're gonna buy a Switch because you're gonna play it first before it gets online.
I don't know, man. A lot of people don't even go out and buy the games no more. Like, if they're really, really competitive, they'll just play on Showdown.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it takes time for the Showdown meta to develop, so everyone kind of plays on the Switch. And then, obviously, if they made it on the Switch, you can't play VGCs like on Showdown. You have to, if you're going to play actual tournament play, you have to have the console in the game, so...
True.
Like,
True.
if they decided to, like, you could sway numbers. It's not going to be a bunch of numbers, but it's enough numbers to sell a console.
I mean, I just can't see them killing off the 3DS anytime soon, man. Like, maybe like 2018. Like, I don't know, man. You can't do it next
Well, I
year.
mean, and here's the thing. The Switch drops in 2017. What if they phase out the 3DS by then? Like, it drops March of 2017, and, like, by holiday season 2017, or even March of 2018, they're kind of phasing the 3DS out.
I mean, but for me, it's not. It's just not really a real replacement because like it's portable, yeah, but like how many people are gonna want to take it absolutely everywhere? Like my 3DS, yeah, because like one, it fits in my pocket for the most part. If you don't got the giant ones, for the most part, it fits in your pocket. Um, but like to me, it's just like it's just this weird hybrid. It's a tweener. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to be everything, but like it can't be just because like from the technology, like it can't be completely portable because like it's got the power of a home console. So like that's my only real thing complaint, I guess.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be like a real like replacement for the 3DS. If they're gonna like continue 3DS play, for all we know, they might make it like cross-compatible, not as far as games, but like, oh, the 3DS is gonna be integral to like things you can do with the Switch.
I would hope for something like that, just because it just seems dumb to me, just to completely throw away the 3DS. I mean, they're making so much money off of it. It's like, how you just be like, well, too bad if you have it. We're switching to the Switch.
I mean, a lot of the money they're making though is just because there's no competitor. Like, PlayStation's tried, but even they had to admit, like, we can't market the Vita. Like, we're just gonna give up on it, which is ridiculous because there's so many things they could do with the Vita. But
I mean, they've never been that great at handhelds.
no,
I mean, they've had great handhelds. They just have not been good at like marketing them.
I mean, the market is basically Nintendo. Like, it would not surprise me if Nintendo controls like 80% of the handheld market share, and the other 20% is like mobile phones. Like Microsoft has nothing. Like they're barely selling Xboxes at this point. They're not going to make like a handheld. They're more about getting everything on like Windows 10 tablets and shit.
True.
Sony can't seem to market a handheld to save their lives.
They really can't. That's what. So yeah, Nintendo, they've just been running the handheld market.
Like, if Nintendo came to you and said every 3 months you got to buy a new handheld and it's the only thing you're going to get like our games on, I don't know if how many people would be like, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Because there's
if they
nothing
told
else
me
to
there was
play.
going to be a new Pokemon game every time, then I'd be like, I probably can't do it.
You would at the very least think about pre-ordering.
I know, right?
You might
Like,
cancel the pre-order, but you would pre-order.
like you would just hand the dude the money, like here, come back.
Like, here,
In like 3 months.
hey, I gotta trade this one in and get a new one.
Like come back in 3. Well, speaking of trade-ins, that if they're really gonna replace two consoles, then like give me something for having these two consoles. Like if I give you my 3DS, give me like $100 off.
I mean, and there's probably gonna be something like that. I mean, GameStop's famous for like, oh, we got a new console, sell your old one, you'll get like $100 back.
Should do it. You're right, because GameStop does that kind of
I
stuff
wish.
all the time.
I mean, none of these companies seem to, because Sony's not giving you anything for like trading your PlayStation 4 towards the Pro. Like,
That's so stupid because it's like that. It's the same console but upgraded. Like if I already have one, then let me get something for it.
look at Microsoft in the same breath at like E3 was like, hey, we have a new Xbox One coming out. By the way, Scorpio coming out later this year. Like, just the most backhanded compliment ever. We're gonna hand you this new smaller console, but we have a new one coming too. So spend your money on this one and then
That's
go buy
one
the other
thing that
one.
makes me hesitant to get consoles day one because they always end up coming out with some better version. Like it's gonna happen every time. I mean, it's probably gonna happen with the Switch. There'll be some Switch Pro.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be like a Switch Plus or a Switch S or something like that.
So like that's the other
Also,
thing.
granted, the Wii U didn't get a special edition. It just got like all the little bundles, and then you had like the core edition and then the deluxe.
Right, it just had like different like memory and stuff. I mean, I don't think it lasted long enough to get another version.
It didn't. There was no like Wii U Plus,
And there
but
was
then
no
again,
demand for it, so like why waste money making another design?
the GameCube didn't get that either, though.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, did the,
The
Xbox?
GameCube
I mean,
didn't
the
get
Xbox
it.
didn't either.
The Wii got a the Wii. What was it? The smaller one or whatever, the Wii Mini or something like that.
Yeah,
It didn't really get an actual new version. Like, Nintendo doesn't seem to really do that with the home consoles, just like the handhelds.
not really. Not you're right. They don't make like slimmer version. No, like we got the
No,
same.
they
64.
stay bulky and then they just upgrade to the next generation.
So I don't. I mean, I guess it's all perspective if that's good or bad. But yeah, they really don't do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, the only thing they do is with their handhelds, like the DS Lite, Game Boy Advance SP. Yeah, that's the only thing
Exactly. Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it with handhelds. They don't do it with home consoles.
No, they
but
don't.
some of that is, I feel like they release home consoles kind of late into like generations. Like, this is the Switch is kind of different because it's in the middle of a really long generation. But like the Wii felt like it kind of came out after the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. Like, they kind of come in halfway through the generation, so they don't have time to do these deluxe versions.
Hmm. I don't know, man. It doesn't really seem to be their MO though. Like they just don't really.
No.
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to screw us over by making us buy the same goddamn thing, but like smaller. I don't know. I mean, they do it with their handheld, so I don't know.
The Switch might do it though. I mean, we've heard the news that Nintendo's kind of combined a lot of their studios, like between the home consoles and the handheld. So
Yeah, it sounds
maybe
like
they're kind of
serious
going for this
about this.
emphasis.
Like they're
Yeah.
really serious about this weird hybrid console. Like I said, it's not going to be a problem at home. It's just the portability. Like, how much is it going to cost? And are people really going to want to? Let's say it's like $300. Let's just throw a price out there. Are people really going to want to take their $300 console out on the bus? On the airplane?
Is it much different than taking like your $500 smartphone on the bus though?
That's
Like you can get robbed.
That's a very good point. Well, I mean, but I guess the difference with a smartphone is that like you don't buy a bunch of $60 games for it.
True.
So
I mean, there's gonna be.
That's a fair point, though. That's a fair point.
If they're smart, there's gonna have some type of location tracking on these things. Like, oh, you know, someone got me for my stuff. We can go ahead and track and like get it recovered or like do something.
I mean, they gotta have some sort of insurance or warranty, man. If they're gonna advertise it as it is, they gotta have some kind of like they're gonna get stolen. There's no, especially if you buy it for like your 10-year-old, he's gonna take it somewhere stupid.
Yeah.
And get it stolen.
I mean, as all 10-year-olds have done at certain points, like taking something that shouldn't like leave the house and like, oh, I'm gonna take this out and show it off, and then it either ends up lost, broken, or stolen, one or the other.
That's the only thing worrying me. But I mean, it's like you said, they got the $500 smartphones. I mean, it's like you said, but like that's the only thing that I'm worried about. Like personally, I'll take it, but only to places I know where it's gonna be safe. Like if I'm in somebody's
I'll
car,
take it in the car or something. Yeah,
I'm in the bus, no way. Unless it's in a bag and concealed, I'm not gonna be playing on the bus. There's no way. Or the train, like.
I guess it depends on what bus or train you take.
I take the blue line.
Depends on where you're going.
I take the blue line. All right, no.
Yeah, no, maybe not in the blue line. But at the same time, I mean, one of the things I want to see on the Switch, it can't be locked into one account. Like the 3DS, the Wii U, this idea of like you have one account that can play on it, I don't like that idea. And I hope that's something that they realize isn't successful and do away with that.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the whole network in general. You gotta have some Xbox Live-ish, PlayStation Network system.
Well, I guess this is the interesting question. So let's say they do implement all these changes. Like, you know, we get the whole name code. You don't have to do friend codes. You just type your name in. You get voice chat. Like, they give all these things, but they say as a charge, now Nintendo Network is going to be a paid service. We
do it anyway.
That?
We do it anyway.
Well, yes.
So one more company wanting the same thing, I don't see a problem with that. I would pay for it. If I really cared enough, I'd pay for it.
I don't think they'll do it just because Nintendo's whole thing is we're not the other guys, and so like I can see them losing sales with certain demographics if they're like, oh, you have to pay for online. But
well, if we're asking for an infrastructure like that,
yeah,
like we have,
I'd be willing to pay for it.
That's also there's got to be some negatives. Like that shit's not cheap.
I guess it's the people who don't want the infrastructure in the first place that are the demographics that would control that. So like, you know, if you're a parent or you're buying it for your kid, you don't want voice chat anyway. You're like, I'm not gonna pay $50 a year for this.
See, but that's the issue. Like I said, they've been pandering to kids. I understand, like you go where the money is, but like they gotta, if they want this to be successful, I know that they don't want to copy off other people. They don't want to say like, well, we're different. You know, look at our console. It's not like those big guys. You know, but at the same time, you gotta, I don't know, you gotta do certain things, man. They gotta cut some corners. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the money at this point for Nintendo is with adults. Like their most popular franchises are played mostly by adults, like Splatoon, adults, Smash, adults, Pokemon, adults. Like your demographic is not the 10-year-old anymore. Like as far as like where your main draw of money is coming from, I think it's more the like 14 to 25, 30, 45-year-olds at this point.
They just gotta learn how to get everybody. That's the thing. They don't get everybody. It's like you can't just focus on one group. Like Microsoft gets a lot of shit like, oh, it's just nothing but first-person shooters. But like, I mean.
But at least that's a demographic that they're going for. Like they understand we're not going to get the kid money because we don't really have that many kid-friendly games.
I mean, like who's got the money? The kids or the adults, right?
Exactly. I mean, there's certain approaches to like marketing to kids that you can get away with. Like, you know, I have no, you know, Nintendo isn't, you know, not making money. Like they're making hand over fist money by marketing to kids. So it's not like there's not a demographic for it. I feel like they go too hard in one direction and then they can't swing it back the other way.
Right. So that's why they have this image like, oh, it's just the kiddie console. So that's why their games also have that image. That's why Smash Bros. Still, to this day, doesn't get the respect it deserves.
No.
Like it's just
I mean,
as technical as any other fighting game, and like
you also have grown men run around asking if their kids are squids, and I'm like, nah, bro, you can't do that.
nah, bro.
You can't do that. Rocking the squid hats at E3, like, come on. But I mean, that's what they need to understand. Like, if we're gonna make these games, like, they're even then, like, as kid friendly as Splatoon is, adults are like the main draw for that game.
All right, man. We had a guy in the chat. He was asking, you know, how successful do we think the Switch would be, like among the casual and the hardcore crowd?
I could see it being more successful amongst the casual crowd just because they've already got the built-in factor with Nintendo. I think they're trying to make a push to hardcore, but it might be too little too late. Like, Skyrim is definitely a push to hardcore. 2K is a push to not the casual crowd that they normally draw. It's a, much different crowd. I don't know if those games are necessarily going to be there. It's really going to depend on what their third-party support is. If Ubisoft gives them, like, a decent Assassin's Creed or something like that, if they get Watch Dogs and it's, like, actually, like, fun to play, that's going to kind of determine where their market share is going to come from.
I think the casual gamers. I mean, Nintendo, they obviously know how to get them. So, like, I guess that's not really a problem. It's going to be the hardcore guys. And the hardcore people already look at Nintendo and go like, look, every time they send a console out, it's some dumb gimmick. Like the Wii, it was motion controls. The Wii U, it was that dumb tablet. Now we got this gimmicky hybrid console. Like, hardcore people, they just want to see a regular controller, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, the Pro Controller is everything I need in life. Like, the Joy-Cons are cool, and, like, I'll probably try them for certain games because the motion features look amazing. But, like, other than that, give me the Pro Controller, let me just put it in my hands and play.
To me, Nintendo has to figure out how do you convince the hardcore gamers to look past your design choices and just focus on the games. Because a lot of people, they'll take one look at that thing and go like, no, thank you. I don't want anything to do with it. It looks stupid. So they got to figure out a way to bring in the hardcore gamers, to show them the games. They got to have games that are going to attract these hardcore gamers. It's like you said, if they really can get all that third-party support, they should be fine. Because if people really are just playing these games because they're good games, then it shouldn't matter what console they're on.
Pretty much, like, and I think that's gonna definitely determine where they go with things. Is if people buy into this whole idea of getting them. Oh, wow! Skype apparently is trying to shut me down, but yeah.
Yeah, we gotta read the chat, man. They're getting.
I see that. That's why I just opened the page because I didn't have the stream open before.
Yeah, sorry, we haven't been staring at the chat. We're sorry. We've just been kind of going on.
Just gabbing and talking.
But yeah, I mean, it's just gonna depend if the hardcore gamers can look past that gimmick. I mean, I don't like calling it a gimmick, but it is to me. Like, when you just don't have a regular controller, and you have those weird Joy-Cons. I'm not saying they don't work. I've obviously never used the Switch before, but when you have those kind of controllers, people can go like, oh, that's another gimmick from Nintendo. It's the same. It's just gonna be the Wii U all over again. So if they can't convince them with the design, then they got to convince them with the games.
And I think that's definitely what they're going to try to do, especially with this. The big thing is this push to esports that they're trying to do. Like, they made that a part of the trailer, just not just to say we can do this. Like, they seem to really want to get that going, and I think that might help with the hardcore side. If they can get, like, a legitimate buy-in to, like, the Evo crowd and have them all using Switches, that might help.
That's a good point. I mean, like I said, they already got a foot in the door with Smash. I mean, I'll be curious to see what games they try to get in esports. Like I said, Splatoon, probably obvious. Maybe something like Mario Kart. If they ever did F-Zero again, I could see that being in esports. I guess if they can get ports of fighting games, like maybe something like Street Fighter, obviously it's probably not going to happen. Maybe King of Fighters, I don't know. You just got to see. Like Pokken, if they end up porting Pokken. So, yeah,
I mean, Pokken might have a chance. Like, it's just unique enough. I don't know if it's going to draw. The biggest thing at this point is finding those esports games that can end up on ESPN. Like, Smash will end up there just because it's so big.
Right.
I could see them picking up one of those lesser-known fighters. Like, they're not going to get the Street Fighters, the King of Fighters, or the Tekkens. Maybe if they can find an up-and-comer that's got a big following and a big crowd, but it's not really being pushed heavy.
There's a lot of games like that. And you know what? Now that you said that, I would love to see. I don't know if anybody Bloody Roar. That's a very that's another one.
Bloody Roar could definitely do it.
Bloody Roar. That was a great fighting game series.
Maybe if they get like the rights to Power Stone or something like that.
Power Stone,
like a game that's got a following.
Well, I don't know about Power Stone because like they already got Smash, so it just seems kind of
Yeah.
redundant to have Power Stone. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some
If
fighting
they
games out there. I
if
don't
they
know,
get
but
into the mobile if they get into the mobile market too, that'll definitely help. Like if the Switch can become like it's built for MOBAs already, like
I mean, in terms of
I
fighting
could
games,
definitely
it's just
see
going to
that.
depend which company is going to be like. They're going to want to put their stock into Nintendo. Like
Yeah.
to me, it's got to be a fighting game that it's only on the Switch. Like that's why you got to buy the Switch.
I can
In
see
terms
that.
of fighting games, right?
If they can get one that's, like I said, already has a built-in following that'll follow it over to the Switch and become the sole provider. That's
Like,
the thing. They're gonna have to lock in like exclusive, not timed exclusive. It's gonna have to be a Switch exclusive.
I mean, you just do like what Sony did. Like, the reason I got a PlayStation 4 was for Street Fighter 5. I had no intention of getting that console until I heard Street Fighter was going to be exclusive to it. So
That's
they
what it
could
is.
find something like that.
It's gotta be clout. It's gotta be something that makes people want to play it. I know Sony did that by getting the rights to like, what is it? DLC for what's it? Call of Duty. Call of Duty DLC. They got that like before Xbox, and so that swayed the Call of Duty community to at least go buy PS4s.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm reading the chat right now, actually. But I mean, yeah, it's more than likely they. I mean, I'm not saying you go where the money is. It's like we've been saying. Kids buy Nintendo stuff. Parents buy Nintendo stuff because they think they know it's safe or whatnot. But I think they got to outreach.
It's not about minimizing the kid market. Like they
Right.
can still make that money.
Right.
It's about getting good ports, not just ports of games that are like more adult friendly. Good ports, like you can't get Mass Effect 3 2 years after it's been out and expect me to go buy a Wii U because you have Mass
Exactly
Effect 3.
right. Like I already have it on PlayStation.
You can't do that with Assassin's Creed 3, with Arkham City. Like you've got to get these games while they're still hot. Like there's got to be a reason for me to buy a Switch.
I mean, and they said, and you can't help but be skeptical because they said when the Wii U came out, they tried to cater more to the hardcore crowd. We see what happened with that. But I mean, like, you give them time, I guess we'll see what happens. It's like you said, though, they got to get these games not 6 years late. Like, no one wants to play Mass Effect 3 on Wii U when they beat it like 12 times on PlayStation.
I mean, they've kind of lucked into getting Skyrim because Skyrim seems to be going through like this weird rebirth. So they lucked into that one. Otherwise, if they tried to pick up Skyrim right now and there was no remaster coming, I'd say it's too late. Yeah, Neospark, that's a good point. Good ports. You got to have good ports. Ports that work, like games that people want to play when they want to play them, not like 4 or 5 years after they come out. Definitely got to have good ports.
The problem with their ports is they always do something gimmicky to them. So, like, oh, you can play this game, but with motion controls now. It's like, nobody wants that shit. Like, we want the game. Like, I want that game, but, like, give me a reason to have this console. Like, I want that game. I want that exact game that's on the shelf. I don't want no gimmicky motion controls. I don't want no added goofy Mario hats in it. I want to go... Because I remember when Tekken Tag Tournament 2 came out. It's basically the exact same game. The only difference is it has, like, Nintendo costumes that you could put on. It's like... That's not enough for me personally. Maybe some people it is, but for me personally, that's not enough of an incentive to make me go out and get a Wii U. Just for that game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, visual, that's a good point. The system might not have console power. I'm really banking on this NVIDIA GPU that they seem to be definitely trying to let people know that it's in there. Hopefully that means they get a little bit more power. I know the Wii itself was built with AMD parts, which are still good, but they're a little more budget-friendly and a little bit lesser in quality to NVIDIA, so maybe that'll help with that.
I mean, what that announcement tells me is they're saying, like, we're making a powerful system, okay? Like, we don't want you guys thinking that we're like 2 generations behind again, okay? Like, we're making a system as good as the big boys. So, I mean, at least they're getting that message out there.
And I want to know what the TV dock is going to do, because I know the tablet itself is supposed to do 720p. Is the dock going to upscale? Like, will I be able to put it in the dock and play like 1080p on my TV, or am I going to be stuck in 720 there?
Yeah, I've heard that's supposed to be the case, yeah. It's just the...
Because if it upscales, that might help.
Yeah, it's just the tablet's supposed to be just locked at 720. But, I mean, I don't see why it couldn't upscale on TV. I've heard, like, that's supposed to be the case, yeah.
Yeah, I hope they don't... Neil Spark was mentioning that they sometimes cut like online features and stuff like that. I really hope that this generation will bring a much better online place for them, so maybe they can keep some of those features in. I'm tired of them cutting features because they don't think that they're right for their systems or because the systems can't do it. If they're going to get these ports, they're going to have to do it.
Exactly, and they don't get certain games for that exact same reason, right? Because, like, like they can't do certain features. So I mean, they really just I mean, for once they got to copy the competition. Just do have a Nintendo Live, PlayStation. You know what I'm trying to say. They got to have
Yeah.
the same infrastructure. They got to do it like that. I mean, they don't really have a choice. It's like 2016. People just expect that when they buy a video game console, they expect that kind of internet service to be in place. Like maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was only Xbox and they were the weird ones, but nowadays, you just got to be like that.
Yeah, we talked about Sony giving up on the handheld market. That's pretty much why Nintendo can get away with a lot of stuff they do in the handheld market as far as not having as powerful consoles or doing all the weird gimmicks and stuff. They kind of are the only game in that.
I mean, it also helps
Uh,
that their big IPs, for whatever reason, seem to do better on handheld. I mean, not maybe not Mario, but Pokemon, obviously. Fire Emblem.
yeah.
They do those games do way better on handheld. I guess it's just
Gears
the way
of
those
War.
games are designed. Like they're kind of like pick up and go play games. So
Yeah. Gears of War 15 asked PS4 versus Xbox One. I guess he's asking like which one do we more so ride with or which one do we support more. I personally am a PlayStation player. I've done Xbox before, but I just don't find many of the games to attract me. I'm not a big first-person shooter fan, so there's not really much on there for me to play. There are some games I've always wanted to play on there that I didn't get a chance to, and I'm a little upset that they have the Rare license because I want to see more like Conquerors and Banjos and stuff like that.
I would
But
like Nintendo to have that back, to be honest.
yeah, I'm more of a PlayStation person. What about you, Aaron?
I mean, I've always been the kind of guy. I don't get into console wars. I don't care. I get console for the games, but I guess if I have to pick one, it's PlayStation. But it's only because it has all the fighting games. Like Xbox has Killer Instinct. Like that's it. I don't play Killer Instinct, so I'm more of a PlayStation guy. They got Street Fighter. They got King of Fighters, Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and man, the fighting game companies they've been doing Xbox dirty though. I mean, it's because it's an American console, so they don't give a shit about putting their Japanese fighting games on it. I
That
mean,
being said, I'm not like a Sony pony or a Sony like fan that's got so deep into them that I don't know when they make bad decisions. It is a very good decision that Microsoft made to kind of push and say, if you buy our games, you get them for like PC and for like Xbox,
that's what I'm saying.
because that kind of entices me. I don't even own an Xbox, but I'm willing to go out and at least buy games because maybe I'll buy it one day, but at least I can play it on PC.
I mean, Sony kind of does that with their Vita. Like if the game comes out on PS4 and it comes out on Vita, they'll have the option of a cross buy. So they
But then
kind
you
of
have
do
to
it,
like
but
buy what? Don't you usually have to buy both versions though?
no, it depends on the game. Like Digimon Cyber
Okay.
Sleuth, if you bought the PS4 version, you get the Vita one for free.
Okay.
I forget, it was another game I can't remember, but yeah, a few of their games are like that. So they kind of do that too. But like, but it's better with Xbox. Obviously, you're getting a whole PC game and an Xbox game. I don't know though. Like, why would you want to have an Xbox and a PC? Like, personally, I'd rather just have the PC if I want to pick one or the other.
Yeah, I totally get the 360 just for Tales of Vesperia. I love the Tales series. I did miss that one because I didn't buy a 360, but one day I'll get around to like finding something to play it, or maybe I'll just like emulate it or something. Who knows?
I mean,
You
I
didn't
bought
hear
it-
that though.
I mean, I bought a PS3 just for the Final Fantasy X remake. Like I said, I'm not really a fanboy. I don't care. I just like playing video games. So if it's a video game and it entices me, then I'll buy the console. It's as simple as that. Yeah, I don't like getting into like, big wars with consoles like Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. I don't like doing that.
Visual, if you don't have a Wii U already, I think it might be worth spending whatever the Switch costs. If it's 400, I don't know if I want to buy it for that, but 300 or 350 maybe.
See, I've been
Zelda.
wondering the same thing, to be honest. Like, is it even worth getting the Wii U at this point? Because I mean, they're gonna be discounted, like obviously, just because
Yeah.
the Switch is coming out. I guess it just depends. What are they gonna port?
I mean, it depends what they're gonna port, and it depends like how much you weigh future, like I guess value versus like getting the value now. Like it's almost undeniable if they cut the Wii U down to like $150 or $100, like it might be a better option to buy that. The question is, do you want to like invest in the future? Like it's not the Switch isn't gonna play Wii U games, so if they don't port things that you want to play, it doesn't matter. But I don't know if I want to spend like $150 on a Wii U and then and look like 2 months later, I'm like, oh man, I really wish I would have just spent the extra $200 and got a Switch, or like the extra $300.
I see that happening for people who are gonna want to get Smash 4. Like they're gonna see those Wii
Yeah.
U's go down, get a Wii U, then like a month later they're gonna announce the port for the Switch. So like, yeah, I mean, it's just like I think it'd be better to just wait just to see what happens. Like if that game doesn't
Yeah.
get ported, then like go ahead, buy that Wii U. But otherwise, like, yeah, I just wait, see what happens.
Gears of War. Like I said, I don't play a lot of first-person shooters, but I am more in the Battlefield camp than I am like Call of Duty. So Battlefield 1 has always intrigued me too, especially with it going back to like World War One times. I'd much rather do that than like future fighting and Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, I'm not really I don't really know anything about those games, but the old Call of Duties, yeah, but I don't know. Well, people have been giving Infinite Warfare shit because, like, I don't know what people want, man, because Modern Warfare was fine. But then you hear people go back to World War II. That was better. Like, we don't want these jetpacks or these weird space guns.
That's because Call of Duty tried to become Halo, and you can't do that.
You think so?
I don't think so. I think Halo is Halo, and Call of Duty is supposed to be, like, even in the future stuff they used to do, like, when they did Modern Warfare, like, that's about as modern as people want them to get, like, real times.
So, do you think the Switch can be successful compared to Sony and Microsoft systems? I mean, they're not even competing. Like, the way Sony and Microsoft go, they basically give you the same system, the same sort of features in terms of online and console, and then they give you, and they have certain exclusives, and, like, that's what separates them. The way Nintendo is doing it now, they're going, like, we don't want nothing to do with that. Like, that's them fighting over there. We got our own games. Come and check them out.
Exactly. I mean, what's successful? Like, I think Sony and Microsoft's definition of success is different from Nintendo's at this point. Like, you know, it's almost Olympics versus, like, individual championships in your league. Like, Is it worth it to get an NBA title when you can have an Olympic gold medal? I think Nintendo's going for the gold medals at this point.
Yeah, they're not even trying to compete. Like,
they're like, we can't get the title. We might as well go for the gold medal.
Now, the question is, can it be successful? Like, that depends. Like I said, it's got to draw people in. It's got to make people, either people who already have a console go like, I want this on top of what I got because it's different. And it's got to convince people who don't have a console, be like, I want this one versus the other ones because it does such and such. So it's gotta be able to draw people in.
I mean, it'll be successful as long as you can't play Mario on a PlayStation or an Xbox. Like, at the end of the day, the fact that they don't sell their like extra,
I feel people
their
say
original
that,
IPs.
I feel people say that, but I think Mario only gets you so far. It's like you gotta, because if that was the case, then they'd just be winning the market like for free. Like Mario, like people nowadays, in my opinion, they've kind of wised up and they go like, well, Mario's good, but like Sony has all those games.
What else do you have? Yeah.
Like they got all those games too, so like I'd rather play those 5 good games versus this one good Mario game on this console.
Quiet as it's kept, maybe success isn't even going to be for any of them. I think you're going to see a large influx into the PC market now that everything's kind of getting set there. So Nintendo's success might not even have to be that great, to be honest with you, to like make money. Because PC's just going to start pulling sales. No, I was just saying PC's going to start pulling sales that way.
I think they just gotta. I mean, I just think they just gotta make it. They just gotta stand out somehow. Like they don't even have to compete. They don't have to like kill Sony and Microsoft. They just gotta convince enough people to buy their console. Like that's all. It is
pretty much.
Like they don't have to.
Gears, I am. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Gears. Yeah, I'm tired of spending $60 on games too. But at this point, it's kind of just what it is. Like we've all had to come to terms with it. I mean, someone was bringing this up to me a while ago. Like, does anybody remember what the price of the game was on the N64? Because I'm pretty sure it was probably about $40 or $50. Like, games have never really been as cheap as we remember.
Like, for real, some of them would be as high as like $100. It depended on the cartridge.
Yeah, I think we have a really weird like memory as far as what games cost.
Yeah, cartridges they used to be like insane. I mean, like I said, it just depends on the game. I mean, if they can make these cartridges cheaper, maybe they can sell them at a discount. But the way I'm looking at it is, from a business standpoint, what reason do they have to sell them cheaper? Like, they know they can get away with $60, so like, why not just do it again?
Pretty much. I don't know about you, Aaron, but I can't rap. So, are you gonna rap? Is that what's gonna happen?
No, I can't spit. I can't do nothing. I got no flow. So I apologize.
Sorry, Sunny Stone, you came to the only Twitch stream where 2 black people can't rap, so I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't blame him for thinking that though.
I feel bad. I feel like I've misled them now, but no, we are 2 black people who don't rap, so there you go.
Oh yeah, the Canadians get it worse, right? Because their games are way more.
Canadians get everything worse.
Everything is way more
expensive. Hey, but you got free healthcare in Canada, so I mean.
You know what?
There you go.
Fair enough.
free healthcare. There you go.
I mean, I would love for them to be cheaper. I just don't see it coming. I would be shocked if like I'm reading an article and it's like Switch games $40. That's it. I'm like, what? Like I would spit out whatever I was drinking.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Wii U versus PS Vita. Like,
That's a
you gotta pick
weird.
one.
That's a weird one because like one's a home console, the other's a handheld.
I guess because they're failed consoles, if we can call it that.
I mean, but they're failures for different reasons. The Wii U is just way too gimmicky to attract. I mean, it's way too gimmicky, and the game library doesn't really attract anybody unless you play Smash or Mario or Mario Kart. The Vita fails because Sony is really bad at marketing their handhelds for some reason. Well, Nintendo has this vice grip on the handheld market, so like, there's really nothing anyone can do to convince you not to buy like a 3DS or something.
I feel like Sony could have like had more success with the Vita if they just would have admitted what it is. The Vita is an RPG machine. That's just what it is. Like, you buy RPGs and you play on it, and they didn't want to do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, they gave
Like, it's basically just a giant RPG machine.
I mean, it's basically like a less powerful like PS4, maybe a 3. I mean, it's good at what it does. So that's what's crazy to me. It's amazing it doesn't sell. It's got good games for the most part. It's got good games and like it's powerful, but I don't know, man. Sony, they don't do a good job telling you that it exists. Like, I mean, I used to work at Toys R Us. We'd have maybe one Vita and like 3 games. And I have people come in like, what is that? Is that like what's that supposed to be? Like, it's the Vita. What's the Vita? You know what I'm saying? They don't do a good job at telling people what this stuff is.
I mean, let's not also forget they tried to make you pay for like the memory cards and those ridiculous prices.
I mean, they had the audacity to make their own format of memory card. I mean, everybody kind of does it, but like, it could have just took SD cards. Like, I remember the PSP and it had those dumb memory sticks. It's like, it could just take SD cards.
They were.
Or just have like internal, I mean, like, or just be like, I don't know, have internal memory. Like, yeah, they kind of screw you out trying to make you go buy extra shit. I don't know.
Aircat, yes. If the Vita was actually the PS2.5 and like it had legit good games like that, it would have been way more successful.
I mean, it does, but it's like you said, they're all RPGs. So if you don't play RPGs, then like you don't want anything to do with the Vita.
Yeah.
Like, it has fighting games, but who the hell wants to play a fighting game on a handheld? I know I don't.
I mean, I feel like that's another thing that's like kind of popular in Japan. Like, I feel like they would definitely play a fighting game on a handheld.
I mean, the controls got to be right though, like, because every time they make a fighting game for handheld, I start laughing because it's like, why would anyone want to play this? Like, I'm not saying you need an arcade stick, but I'm biased as fuck because I need an arcade stick. I can't play fighting games without them, but I don't know.
I mean, you need everyone. Like, as someone who doesn't even really play them that much, like, just trying to play for a little bit, you do need an arcade stick to play a fighting game. Like, the controller has nothing on it.
Like, some people can,
like, it's like,
but I can't.
I don't know. It's like the people who like say keyboard and mouse is like necessary to play shooters. I can agree to a certain extent. I don't play a lot of shooters, but trying to do it on the controller versus like keyboard and mouse point and click, like, it's definitely going to be a lot easier and faster.
You know, it's reverse for me. I can never get used to shooting with a mouse and a keyboard. Like, I need a controller. But you know, that's just how
I do too. I just know I'm pretty bad at it.
That's because I'm used to not having computers that can run anything but like solitaire. So like, I'm used to having the controller. Who was working on VR? Sony? I'm reading the chat.
Yeah, Sony has the PlayStation VR that is actually dropping in like a week. Yeah, it was around, and then they were quiet about it for a while, and then it just popped up.
Yeah, for real.
Because they talked about it, I feel like, two E3s ago, and then it disappeared for a long time until recently.
Yeah, I don't remember how I found out about it, but like, yeah, like I don't know. I walked into a GameStop, I think, and they were like demoing it.
Yeah, they were doing a demo. I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, they haven't been talking about that thing. I don't know, man. VR, it don't really interest me. Like, it's too expensive, and it's really gimmicky.
I mean, it's just not seamless enough yet. If it becomes more seamless, I would love it. But at this point, like, the biggest thing is with the hands. They don't know what to do with the hands yet. Like, the Vive has really good like motion controls, but everything else wants you to sit there and hold the controller, and that's not immersive if I'm holding a controller and looking at everything.
Not at all, right? Yeah, I don't think VR. I mean, it's gotten better, but like, I mean, it's not Virtual Boy, but like,
I mean, it's the modeling. It's the modeling too, because I have friends who like do a lot of this stuff, and like just the idea of like floating hands in front of you, it feels weird, but that's because it's so hard to like model a hand connected to an arm and make it like work perfectly.
I don't think it's not. It hasn't gotten there quite yet. Maybe in 20
No.
years our kids will be having good
I was like, yeah,
VR.
maybe in 20 years our kids will be like jacking in and doing like dot hack sign type
And
shit.
all right, and then we'll be very jealous, sitting there like, goddamn, why we had how we as kids.
Very jealous, man.
They
It's
couldn't
a
get-
virtual reality. I'm gonna sit in there and play too. Like I can be whoever I want to be online. Like I can be 15 again online.
You know, man, but
Exactly, Neospark. I will buy VR when it becomes like Sword Art Online. Like if they drop a legit game like that and
No.
it works the same
that
way, I'll
anime
buy
has
it.
scarred me for life. Hell no. I don't want to die in the game and then die in real life. Hell no. I'll just keep playing RuneScape. It's okay. I keep playing RuneScape.
I'll do it, man. I'll just forget about my life here and I'll just go online and be done.
Yeah, people have been getting sick with the VR. Like you
I
shouldn't
actually-
get nausea with that. Like, come
go
on,
ahead.
man. It's supposed to be virtual reality. Like, do you get sick just walking down the street? Like, no, I shouldn't get sick playing the game either.
It's interesting because my roommates were testing the what was it, the Oculus when like my school first got it, and they were like brought it home and they were doing like an underwater game. So I put it on and I actually got like so ill I had to take the headset off and like take a couple minutes because I just couldn't handle it.
It's not there.
Like,
yet,
if-
man. Technology,
yeah,
is not there yet.
Well, the thing is, it's got to be seamless. Like I think they said it has to run at like seamless 60 frames per second just so your eyes and like body don't get disoriented, and like nothing can run it like that.
Download times
like-
on console. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Download
No, you're
times
good.
on consoles is very irritating way so long to download. I mean, they shouldn't. You shouldn't even have to install the goddamn game. That's what the problem is. Or unless he's talking about like games you legit download, or does he mean like install? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything taking too long to download, but that's because I Ethernet my PlayStation in, so like I haven't dealt with that.
Well, I mean, the games are just getting bigger and bigger, so I guess that might be what he means. Like, so it's just taking longer to get. I mean, games are getting like 40-something gigabytes.
I will say this though, there's no point to like buying discs anymore. I feel like because I feel like I buy the disc and I just have to download the game anyway.
The way it is, it's the same thing. It does exactly what it does with it when you download it. So like, I don't.
I
And
might
then
as
it
well
still
just
has the
buy it.
nerve to ask you to put the disc in. Like, you're gonna read
Yeah.
it just to see if I have it, and then I take it right back out. Like, it's so stupid.
I might as well just buy the disc. I mean, buy digital at this point. But what's the point? I might as well get the nice box art because they still charge me full price in tax to buy it digital.
I mean, and the manuals, there barely no manuals anymore. And it'll be
There
like,
are no
if it
manuals.
is in there, it'll be like one sheet that says like basically how to turn the fucking game on.
If you buy 2K, it literally tells you, oh, the manual's on the disc. Like you have to open the disc just to look at the manual.
I mean, but they're doing that shit on purpose. They don't even want to make physical media anymore. They're doing that shit on
No.
purpose.
They don't want to have box art, and I miss it because box art used to be like the thing for games. Like you would collect nice box art.
I used to love just reading the back of boxes, but I used to love that shit.
If Google Earth had VR, I would totally buy the VR and just like travel wherever I want. Like there'd be no point to me physically traveling anymore.
I'm hell no. I'm like, I don't know if there's a word for being like phobic of maps, but like when I look at a map, I get like paranoid. I don't know how to describe it. Like if I go like to another state and I see streets I don't understand, like I get paranoid. I just turn off the map. Like so, like no thanks. I don't want to. I don't want to experience that in VR.
Yeah, Visual. I do remember reading manuals. I remember like Pokemon Red and Blue coming with like the little cool art inside and telling you, "Oh, fight the bug trainer. He's so hard to fight." And then you go there and you're like,
used to
"I
be
feel
the
good."
thickest manuals, man. They had everything in them. They had the maps.
Oh.
Like I mean, it was just in 5 languages, man. It used to be the thickest manuals. Now it's just on the goddamn disc. I don't mind that, but it's just like, don't sell me the box if like you're not gonna put anything in it.
Yeah. That is true though. GTA 5, there are still good companies that do it. GTA 5 gives a map. I know Skyrim had a map when it came in on like nice parchment paper. Like, there are still companies that do really good stuff.
You were playing and your friend telling you what to do. I still get that when I stream, actually. You get people, hey man, go over there. Go do that.
Yeah, but then they were reading the manual and telling you what to do, which is actually like pretty legit.
Yeah, but they-
like,
but
oh,
they-
I don't
they
know how
would
to do
talk.
this. Like, hit the button.
Yeah, but they would talk like they've been playing the game for like 10 years. Like, you dumbass, you're supposed to just hit X at this part. GTA 5 Nintendo Switch Edition. If they got that game, it would help, but like it would just be like Mass Effect 3 all over again. Like, they're getting...
Yeah, say
that
if they
game
got
back.
that game, it would be way too late because GTA 5 is like how many years old at this point? Like, yeah, it still has updates and everything, but if you were gonna buy GTA 5, chances are you already own it on a console of choice. You're not buying a Switch just to get GTA 5.
Exactly, right now, if they get GTA 6... that'd be a different story.
Now, if they get Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's like coming out next year,
See, that should
now we're
be
talking.
their priority. Get those like fuck. I mean, they can port their own
I
games,
feel like
but,
that's
but
the
do
problem
not
with Nintendo.
port-
Like they're always a step behind. Like they would be the company trying to get GTA 5 when Red Dead's coming out.
That's what I'm saying. They can port their own shit, but do not port old AAA titles. Let them stay where they are. It's whatever. But the new ones, they gotta hustle. Get them games. That's the ones they need to get. Hustle.
Yep, that's what they need to do. GTA 6 will be Yakuza. That'd be pretty cool. GTA 6 honestly sounds like it'd be cool if they just like combined a lot of the cities together. Like if you could go from Liberty City to like Los Santos, that'd be cool.
Yeah, people have been wanting something like that forever. Like just as it has all the cities in it. But I mean, Yakuza already has Yakuza, so like Yakuza, it's already like GTA kind of, but with like the Yakuza. So like having GTA Yakuza would be like redundant. So I don't think that would ever happen. I mean, not when they're the focal point anyway.
I mean, Sleeping Dogs also kind of fills a lot of that too.
So I'm saying like Sega already has the Yakuza market like locked down.
Now, if they do like a Yakuza style for I don't know, for like Assassin's Creed, that'd be cool. Like sort of how they did Syndicate with like British gangs, but do like a Japanese gang for the assassins. That'd be pretty cool.
It's a good, interesting idea.
I mean, because they already want to go Japan everywhere, and everyone wants them to go samurai. And I'm like, well, what if they went Yakuzas instead?
Oh yeah, we talked about that earlier. Apparently, it is supposed to be region free, so that is very, very good. Like I said earlier, I don't get why. I mean, I get why, but like I think it's dumb that companies region lock their systems. It's like if we don't get certain games, then the only choice we have to play it is either illegally, piracy or something like that, or you have to buy whatever region version of the game you're trying to play and that game. So it's just like extra money. It's stupid. Like, or you could just play the import when it's region free. So yeah, it's supposed to be region free, and I hope that's true.
I hope so too. I wanted to play, I think it's like Gundam Breakers 3 or something like that came out, and like the only way to actually legit play it with English subtitles is to buy like the Philippines version, which means you have to have like a Philippines account.
See, like that's goofy. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's not our fault as consumers if we don't get a certain game, so like, why should we be punished by not being able to play it? Like that, especially. I mean, see, like Xbox One is not region locked, and like Japan enjoys the hell out of that because they can play all the violent games that they can't even get over there. Like Gears of War 4 got canceled over there. Only way they can play it is by importing it, and it's got Japanese subtitles already in the English version. So
a Mafia game with Pablo Escobar, that would be pretty cool.
Pablo Escobar, for the glory of Nor, yo, Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem. Yeah, I'd really like to see a Switch version of it.
Yeah,
that would be dope. I don't know, man. Old people who play. Let me reword that. People who play the old Fire Emblem games, they don't like the new ones because they call them like visual novel sims, basically. Since you spend more time shipping than actually, I mean, that's true to a certain extent, but like, it's still Fire Emblem, man. Like, it's still
I feel like that is like the new trend in Japan. Like the shipping thing seems to be really, really huge now.
I don't know. I mean, it's all opinion based, I guess. Like, it doesn't bother me because at the core, it's.
I mean, it doesn't bother me because you can like always skip those elements of the game if you really wanted to. Like, no one's forced to play that part of the game.
Well, I mean, you couldn't in I mean, there was really no reason to in Awakening because like you unlocked like way more story stuff if you ship the characters and have their kids. And like in the new one though, it's not super big a deal, but like we're not talking about the Switch anymore.
I think we might as well wrap it up. We're about 2 hours in at this point, and I know you're still planning on like streaming later, or at least like putting a game on.
I think so. Yeah,
I think people have seen enough of my face on camera, and I actually have to get to the grocery store in like an hour.
Grocery store? Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go pick up some stuff and then come back and watch more stream.
All right, guys.